Hey everybody, I'm here to talk about Smash in a different way than I have so far with my Smash Talk videos, and that's in the funding department. I was discussing it with Rider of Lightning earlier, and he suggested I make a video about it, so here it is. I came across a really interesting article in Zelda Informer, actually, and it opened my eyes to something I hadn't really thought about yet. Nintendo is not a very big company. Now, they are huge. They make a lot of money. That's true. I'm not saying that, it's a bunch of indie developers, holed up in some shack somewhere in, backwater Japan. I'm saying, they have very, very small teams. They don't have a lot of developers on their staff. I think part of this may be because they're a gaming-only company. They don't have money coming in from other things to help fund, the gaming process. They aren't as huge money-wise as Sony or Microsoft because they solely pull in profits from gaming. Now here's where it's hurting. The average AAA game, meaning your big budget games, the blockbusters, the ones that everybody gets, on average have a 70 to 100 person team. That's just for the average game that you see on the 360 or the PS3. Nintendo, on average, has 30 people working on a game. When you got teams that are that small, it takes a lot longer to make things. Not only that, but you can't spread out and work on other projects. For Skyward Sword, they used the biggest team they've ever used, and they just barely had over 100 people. So Skyward Sword was a huge gamble for them to do what all the other developers do in terms of having a powerful team behind it. This also explains why Miyamoto was saying that if Skyward Sword doesn't sell well, Zelda's probably going to go on hiatus. They're really, really nervous about putting that much money and that many people into one game. Think about all the other things they didn't make because they were working on Skyward Sword. I mean, they had 3 full crews by Nintendo standards. They could have been making 3 different games, you know? Now, I'm not saying they shouldn't have done it. I am so glad that they did Skyward Sword the way that they did it, because it's apparently a fantastic game. I can't wait to get my hands on it, and it's beautiful. Here's the thing. With the demands that games have now, it's not back in the, Nintendo, Super Nintendo era. You can't just get away with pixels. You have to put in a lot more effort to make a game that people want to buy nowadays. So what's happening is Nintendo's not increasing the size of their teams, and because of that, their first-party production's going down. Yes, they've been maintaining the Mario series and the Zelda series and the Pokemon series, but not in an incredible amount, and they haven't been coming out with new IPs. When's the last time we saw a new character that came from Nintendo? Exactly. Now, what this is doing is this is making them go with easier games that they know are going to sell well. New Super Mario Bros. Wii? It wasn't that hard to make. It's a great game. It really is. But do you really think that was hard to make? It wasn't. Now, and don't blame this on Miyamoto. Here's the thing, Miyamoto is not the head of Nintendo. He might be the one that everybody looks at. He might be the godfather of gaming, and he might be the face of Nintendo itself. But Miyamoto's not the head honcho. In fact, to get orchestrated music for Super Mario Galaxy, he had to lobby them. He had to beg for enough funding to improve the music in the game. In fact, Galaxy only had 30 people working on it. So even Galaxy, which is a fantastic game, had a small team, which delayed the development process. It made it take longer. So this causes problems, and if Nintendo wants to compete, they're going to need to increase their teams or do something to get back in the market. Because they showed with the Wii that they can't fully sustain a system just by themselves. They have to pull in a third party, or they have to increase their first party size so that they can increase productivity there. Because as technology advances, they have to advance. What does this mean for Brawl? I came across an interview that was translated with Sakurai. And in it, he stated specifically that he wants to do SSB4 this way. He wants the Wii U version to have 50 characters, double the stages, and basically be a huge improvement from Brawl. Just basically a step up. Now, he wanted the DS game, the 3DS game, sorry. He wanted the 3DS game to be something completely different. He wanted it to be a single-player sort of reward system where you complete objectives, and you unlock all sorts of awesome things that you can use on your character. It's sort of like a personal adventure. You build up, I'm guessing, wardrobe and moves and such like that. So I guess it won't be a Mii. Well, at least it's sounding that way. It might still be a Mii. Maybe you can put different clothing on your Mii. If you could do that, and if you could change the appearance of your Mii, I wouldn't have a problem with it being a Mii. He stated that he wanted to have the handheld be a single-player thing where you then take all the stuff that you've unlocked and you can transfer your character to the console. Now, I'm really happy about this because that's what I was hoping they would do, and I think it's the best way to do it. I think it's the most enjoyable way, and I think it's making the games truly stand alone, but having them work together in a way that you can get one or the other, or both, and you're great either way. Now here's the thing. He said that this is what he wanted to do, not that this is what's going to happen. And he said that his reservation is coming from the fact that he doesn't know if he'll have a large enough team. He doesn't want to take forever making this game. He doesn't want to get stuck in limbo. He doesn't want it to go through an Earthbound process, you know? He doesn't want it to be a Mother 3 where it gets delayed forever, or Duke Nukem Forever, I guess would be the easier reference. And he said that if the team ends up being smaller and he has to make a sacrifice, he won't make the handheld. His priority is the console. Now, what does this mean? If Skyward Sword is successful, Nintendo may be more willing to put in a larger team. And with the direction they're going with making the Wii U, I think that it is possible that they've realized this, and that they're going to increase the size of their development teams. Do I think Sakurai is going to be able to do everything that he wants to do? No. But, he didn't do everything he wanted to do with Brawl, either. He's never going to do everything he wants to do, because he's always going to be held back by time, and by limitations of systems, and by the fact that he has to reserve things for the next game. So I think there will be a few sacrifices. I don't know if we'll have double the stages, and we may not have a full 50 characters. But that's what he wants. And that's what he said. And I really, really hope that's what happens. And I hope that it works out the way that he wants, with a single-player handheld that transfers to the console. I hope the team only grows. I hope the quality only improves. Basically, I hope Nintendo doesn't shirk on giving Sakurai the funding that he deserves. And I don't think they will, because Sakurai has created one of their best-selling franchises ever. You can't say that the Smash Bros. Series isn't successful, and you can't say that it's not critically acclaimed, and you can't say it's not popular with the fans. The Smash Bros. Series is basically perfect, looking at it from a monetary point of view. The heads of Nintendo are business-minded. Their main goal is to make money, not to make great games, not to please their fans. That's Miyamoto's job. That's Sakurai's job. That's all the developers' job. But the heads of the company, they just want to make money. So that's why Nintendo is seeing problems in terms of team size and such. However, I do think they will fully fund Sakurai. It would be really, really hard to not make a profit off of Smash. So those are my general thoughts. If you guys have other opinions, leave them in the comments. I'm going to post links to both of the articles in the description box, so you guys should check them out just for your own knowledge if you haven't seen them yet. They're not brand new articles, so it's not like there's no way you've seen them before. But if you haven't, I would check them out. It's really interesting, actually, and just a lot to think about when it comes to thinking about games and what happens under the surface. Other than that, yeah. I'll see you guys soon.